Hello, beautiful people. My name is Laura, and this is the Soulless Magic YouTube channel. This is my second video out of the Foundational Perspective series, where I share the perspectives that have helped me the most in my mental health journey and my spiritual development journey, which I believe those are inherently connected and kind of the same journey, just with different names. Now, take a second with me here and imagine something. Imagine all the people. No, just kidding, though it is related. So, what I actually want you to imagine is what it looks like to hold a belief lightly enough to examine it, seriously enough to be transformed by it, and playfully enough to let it go when it no longer serves you. So, this is what I like to call spiritual exploration. For me, this is a mindset that allows for belief and skepticism, where they're both honored and respected, where you're open to multiple different belief systems, religions, explanations of the universe, and approach spirituality with curiosity and fluidity. As someone raised by both an equally devout Christian mother and atheist father, I grappled between the relationship of skepticism and belief for most of my young life. One parent telling me to only believe in proof and science, and the other one telling me to disregard science and put my faith in the one true God. Due to my naturally spiritual nature, I gravitated towards Christianity initially. I just sensed that there was something more to this life than we can purely see. But in my early 20s, I experienced a faith crisis and lost my belief in the Christian Bible. This sent me into a deep period of depression, as I had wrapped my entire identity around Christianity and had no idea how to relate to the world around me anymore. What I discovered through this journey is that being human and being spiritual means embracing exploration, doubt, questioning, and believing. That's one of the beauties of the spiritual path. Finding ourselves in these spiritual stories, parables, and teachings, and helping us understand how to better navigate this world and find more depth and meaning to what this life even is. We give meaning to our own path, and these diverse spiritual beliefs offer different lenses through which to view your journey. Sometimes those beliefs will stay with you, other times they'll fade away, yet it's all divine expression and exploration. A spiritual explorer allows themselves to intuitively flow to the particular point of view of spirituality they align with at different points in their life. A spiritual explorer stays curious and works towards developing personal growth and their own connection to spirit. So stay with me now. When you hold a belief lightly enough to examine it, you don't take the belief system so seriously as to wrap your entire identity around it. By having this attitude, you take spiritual content and teachings with a grain of salt, willing to pull pieces of wisdom out of the teaching without necessarily prescribing to a full religious identity. But then, by holding a belief seriously enough to be transformed by it, you allow yourself to believe in a playful, childlike way. Think about how it felt to believe in Santa as a kid. It brought a sense of whimsy and joy. When you allow yourself to believe in the spiritual stories, parables, and teachings enough, you unlock a playfulness to life. Like playing make believe, when you let yourself make believe, whimsy in life will follow you. You have to play with it to understand, but when you let yourself believe, life has a deliciously fun way of confirming those magical beliefs. Call it manifestation, call it confirmation bias. Either way, it adds lightheartedness and fun to life, as well as a entire new layer of depth in which you approach everyday life. Often in today's society, I see many people completely disregard this approach, mocking people who believe easily as an insult to their intelligence. Personally, I've always been able to sort of allow myself to believe in spiritual stories and concepts. I allow myself to believe in them, to experience them, but with enough mindful awareness that I'm willing to admit when there's an element of illusion. This is a form of doublethink, the ability to hold contradictory beliefs or ideas at the same time. Life is often a paradox, and a human's relationship with spirituality is no different. It often involves conflicting elements that coexist. There is an inherent tension between firmly holding to a belief and being open to questioning and doubt. The paradox arises from the fact that both belief and skepticism, while seemingly opposing forces, are necessary for a balanced perspective. Holding beliefs too rigidly can lead to dogmatism, intolerance, and a refusal to consider alternative perspectives, while being overly skeptical can lead to analysis paralysis, a lack of trust, and a rejection of potentially valuable ideas. The devout believer doesn't open themselves up to scientific knowledge and evidence, and the rigid skeptic doesn't open themselves up to the whimsy and play of spirit and of our own psychology. As humans in the modern world, we are bombarded by information, and this is no different for someone exploring their spirituality. You'll find everything from Christianity to Satanism, from New Age starseeds to atheists. And the amount of books, podcasts, and social media content can be overwhelming. Every person believes their viewpoint is right, and typically this also insinuates someone else's is wrong. And this is why I have turned to a non judgmental perspective towards spirituality, where I hold space for belief and skepticism and attempt to balance the two. Now, naturally, we are human, so balance can be easier said than done, but the intention remains as a pillar in my approach. The beauty in this way of thinking is it opens a whole new level of expansion with your spirituality. Different beliefs from separate religions and spiritual teachings feed and add to one another to create something that otherwise would have never been discovered. This is synthesis, one of the pillars of the Soulless Magic channel, combining your own choice of different beliefs, perspectives, tools, and stories to form your own unique approach to life and the world and personal development. When navigating my spirituality, I keep what is true for me and I leave the rest. In a world so overabundant with different points of views and beliefs, I find keeping this attitude helps me sift through the information overwhelm to find bits and pieces of truth, at least what is true for me. Now, remember when I said the song Imagine would tie back into this? Remember the song lyrics, Imagine a world with no religion? To me, it's not the religion I'd like to imagine the world without. Religion has its time and place on certain individuals' journeys, but rather, I'd like to imagine a world with no judgment or force in regards to these religions, belief systems, with many people recognizing that right and wrong are subjective and they are constructs of the human mind. A world where we don't judge our paths nor someone else's and allow for each of us to explore whatever beliefs we are drawn to, seeing the value in all of them. And recognizing that in us collectively holding so many different perspectives, humanity has an avenue in which to witness all the viewpoints of connection to life, divinity, and oneself. This is the play of spiritual exploration, scraping through the details to find the essence, holding beliefs lightly enough to examine them, deeply enough to be transformed by them, and playfully enough to let them go when they no longer serve you. So that is today's foundational perspective. Thank you for joining me today. If this video brought you any value, please like and subscribe to the channel. My goal with this channel is partially to create an open space for discussion around spirituality and mental health, where we do sort of have this openness and fluidity. So if that sounds like your jam, if that resonates with you, please go ahead and subscribe and join my new community of soulless magic. Thank you for watching and much love.